there, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brittney Bundles and welcome to our Sunday Chit Chat Q&A video. If you are new to this channel, on Sundays I read through any questions via email, text message, any comments. I just pretty much go through all the questions that I received. I choose one topic to go over and elaborate on. So if you are interested, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Please make sure that you are subscribed, and let's get right into the video. So just a quick disclosure, if you do hear a beeping noise, it is the alarm system in my home. My battery needs to be changed, and I'm waiting on the alarm company to come out here and change the battery. I tried to change it yesterday, or my mom tried to change it for me yesterday, and we couldn't do it. So I'm waiting for them to come out here, so please bear with me with that. But today I want to talk about chargebacks. I received a lot of questions recently about protecting your business and making sure that you don't get any chargebacks. And I'm going to just quickly go over what a chargeback is. I've made videos about this in the past where I have sent out hair and the customer has received it because the post office confirmed that whoever, I sent the hair to, they received it and they signed for it. But then a few days later, I would have the money drafted right back out of my account, So the person ended up getting the hair and also the money. And if you didn't hear that story, I posted that video about a year ago. So if you are interested, I'll try to find it and link it below if you want to watch that. But a lot of people are experiencing chargebacks. And that's one of the reasons a lot of companies consider hair companies to be a high risk business. If you've been following my channel, a few weeks ago, I went over Shopify Capital. And I explained that Shopify Capital, hair companies are considered a risk. And so that's one of the reasons, it's not that anyone's any lending companies are trying to, be discriminatory or be rude or, just not work with hair companies just because. But hair companies are definitely high risk. And with my situation, I was able to get the authorities involved. The police went to her home and, at that time, it's like, what can you do? Can they take the hair back from her? Are they going to be able to take it out of her head? Do I want it back after she's run her fingers through it or maybe installed it or whatever the case may be. But I'm going to kind of go over some of the things that you need to look for. So the first thing that you want to make sure that you're looking at, especially if you are accepting credit cards, you want to make sure that everything on that credit card, all the information that you see as far as the name and the address, and also the phone number, the name, the address, and the phone number should be on your information when someone orders. You specifically want to pay attention to the name and the address. You want to make sure that the name that comes through on the card and the address that comes through on the card matches what it shows for the shipping on your order. So typically when you are receiving orders, whether you use Shopify or another e-commerce platform, if you are not using Shopify, I strongly recommend use Shopify. I'm going to be making some videos in the future going over the fraud analysis behind Shopify as well. Shopify is great. I use Shopify for my personal website. So click the link below if you are interested in starting your Shopify trial. But like I was saying, you want to make sure that those two things match. When you get an order, you'll have the customer's billing information and then you'll have their shipping information. Those two pieces of information need to match. In my situation that happened a year ago, the billing information was completely different. It was in a man's name. So the name on the card was a man's name, I assume, was a male's name. And the address was different from the billing. And so I did reach out to the person and I asked, hey, just to make sure everything is fine. And I think she advised me at that point that they were boyfriend, girlfriend, or husband and wife or something like that. And so at that point, I just thought it was okay. I'm like, okay, that seems reasonable. A lot of men do buy their women hair extensions. A lot of, people in relationships do buy hair as gifts. So I didn't think that that was anything out of the ordinary. And so I sent the hair out. It took about 3 days and the money was deposited into my account. After I sent out the hair and, I confirmed that they received it and everything, I was fine. I thought everything was done. I had the money, they have the hair. The transaction is done, so I thought. And then about 3 days later, the money just left my account. And it depends on who you're going through as far as who your payment processing company is, as far as what recourse you'll have. The payment processing company that I was going through, they did not help in disputes. So it was just pretty much, I was done. I was out of the money and I was out of my product. And a lot of you, especially if you're just starting your hair business, even if you're not starting your hair business, you don't want to take an unnecessary loss. And that's an unnecessary loss, for someone to do that. And so one thing you want, if I would have made sure that those two pieces of information matched, I would have I would have been able to better protect myself, because in order for them to dispute a charge, they have to call their credit card company and pretty much make the case to them. And so if they just say, hey, the name on the order wasn't even my name, it was my card and it didn't even match the name on the order, it looks like it could be a suspicious order. It looks like someone did take their card. And so you just want to make sure that you're looking at those two pieces of information. If you have Shopify, you're wanting to make sure that you look at the fraud analysis. And then you also want to make sure that you are getting a good phone number. Get a good phone number from whoever you're doing business with. You may not need it, but you may need it, depending on what comes up when they process their order, depending on what red flags may occur. Another thing you want to do to make sure that you're not receiving any chargebacks is you do want to be cautious when you are using credit cards, because like I said, the credit card company is going to work for their customer, and their customer, is them. They're going to work for them. That's their job. And so the only person that you really have working for you is yourself. You have to make sure that you're keeping all of the information and that you're presenting everything if it does come down to a dispute type of scenario. And so I would definitely make sure that you're getting a phone number so that you can have some type of information like, hey, or call them ahead of time before shipping out the hair. Like, you know what, I'm going to need you to submit a form. I'm going to need you to sign here, or whatever the case may be, just to make sure you're protecting yourself so that if they do dispute the charge, you'll have information to say, you know what, this is why I sent the hair out, and this is how I was able to verify that it's them. It's sad that you have to do so much to make sure that you're not getting gypped off, so to speak. But when you're in business, you cross over to another realm. People are going to try to get over. I don't care if you're a hair company, shoe company, eyelash company, fast food company, people are going to try to get over. So you just have to make sure that you're keeping track of all of your information, which brings me to my next point. Keep record of your emails, keep record of the phone numbers, keep record of the address that you're shipping the product to. Sometimes you'll get people, they'll be like, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and place this order, and then I'm going to call customer service, or I'm going to email them and tell them to change the address and don't ship it there. I'm no longer there. Now, you have to be cautious with this because you do have some people that are really genuine and say they forgot to change their address, or the address on their PayPal account really does need to be updated, but it hasn't. You as the business owner, you have to stop and you have to think. Instead of just going ahead and shipping out the hair, make sure that you're doing your research. If you have to call PayPal and just confirm, hey, this is what's going on ahead of time, what do you recommend? Take a look at it. Is this person someone that typically charges back items? Are there any red flags that you can see on your end that maybe I can't see? Is this something that I should move forward with doing? And I say PayPal because that's what I use. I use strictly PayPal. But whoever you're using, make sure that you're familiar with their dispute processes, and make sure that you're getting all the information that you possibly can get. Save the emails, save the correspondence between, text messages if it goes there, save everything so that if something happens, you do have evidence to present. Now, the evidence really won't matter that much if you are working with a processing company that does not help in disputes. If they don't help in disputes, then it's kind of like you can submit everything that you have, but more than likely, you're not going to get your money back. I know in my situation, I did not get my money back at all. I did not get it. And so you have to be cautious of that. Make sure that you're reading through their policies. Make sure that everything goes right with the dispute. If it's something that you really can't dispute, if it's a company that's like, you know what, I just stay out of it, I would caution myself. A lot of hair companies have steered away from using credit cards, and in my opinion, I think that's why, because I don't accept credit cards at this point. Not saying I won't in the future, but there's just too many, it's just too many things that people can do with their credit cards that aids them in being fraudful or in their fraud activity. And so I strongly recommend going with PayPal, but even when you are using PayPal, that does not mean that you don't need to make sure that you're keeping record of everything. So my tips here in this video, just to sum it up, make sure that the billing and shipping information match before you ship out any product. Make sure that you are keeping record of any correspondence that you have with your customers. So whether that be via email, text message, whatever else you do, whether it's social media, keep screenshots, keep all of your receipts, keep everything so that if it does come time or to that point where you can dispute, you have everything in place. Also, be sure that you're rereading all of the policies and information pertaining to the processing company that you're using. Ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask. A lot of people are afraid to ask questions. A lot of people are, afraid to bother a company, and that's their job. If you have a question, just like if you have a question with my company, it's my job to answer the question. And so it's their job. If you really want to work with that company, then you have to make sure that it's the best fit for your business. And in order to do that, sometimes you're going to ask questions. Sometimes you are going to need more information than what's available on the website. So keep that in mind. And then I'm trying to think of anything else. And another thing I want to make sure that I'm putting out there is make sure that your policies are available on your website, because if it comes down to disputing as well, then you are going to need to show, okay, this is my policy and this was on the website. This is where they can find it. This is how they were able to know about my policy. So just make sure that everything is laid out in order on your website. Make sure that you are becoming more organized. Typically, everything goes well with the orders. I don't really have too many fraud cases now that I've made sure that I've implemented these steps that I'm going over in the video. But the biggest tip that I can recommend to anyone is making sure that the shipping and billing information match. If they don't match, make sure that you are contacting your customer to let them know, I'm not able to ship the item until these match. I have to make sure that I'm protecting my business. And if they do send over an authorization, or if you do get something in writing from them that states, hey, it's okay to ship to this address, make sure that you're holding on tight to that. And before you accept any credit cards, make sure that you're please rereading all of their policies and their dispute process. Please do that. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.